Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at another type of health gadget, which is the pans that you're going to use cooking. And today we're going to look at the ScanPans. And I really have wanted to look at these pans because they offer some unique features that other pans just don't offer. I haven't found them. And they have some special things. This set is manufactured in Denmark, so I like that. It's a family-owned business. They've been manufacturing since 1956. And another really unique thing about these pans is they use 100% recycled aluminum. Really like that. So just from the start, you know, they have a good pedigree and they have some unique selling points. But that wasn't the key reason why I went to get these pans and why I decided to try them out. Let's open up the box, let's look at them, and I'll tell you what I really liked about these pans and what I'm hoping really comes true with them. Okay, so let me take off the outer case on this box. And what I like is this box is really well packed. It doesn't use tape. They actually use a solid packing material that fits pretty well. So exciting. Haven't seen these pans before, so here we go. Okay, so this set comes with 6 pots and 4 lids, so it's a 10-piece set. Okay, the one thing that's kind of a bummer with these pans is there is some assembly. You have to put the handles on the lids. And so I tested one out to see what the deal was. Now when you put these together, they're only supposed to be finger tight, so don't try to crank it down. Okay, it has a screw which has a silicone washer. That goes on the inside of the lid. So you can see there's the outside, there's the inside. And, well, forgot, you need to put the washer in there first and then put that on the inside of the lid. These 2 pieces belong to the handle and they will go on the outside. Now, what I found is this silicone washer, it kind of stops you from getting it tight. So I kind of had to play around with these a little bit to get the screw to hook in. And what I found I did was on the smaller one, I was able to push that screw up and through and get it. And this one's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit harder to do. So I am not mechanically inclined. So this is not going to be quick and easy for me. So that's the idea. That's how you have to do it. I'm going to turn this off, do it manually, because otherwise you're going to be super bored watching me try to become mechanical. Okay, so ScanPans are sold through Sur La Table, and these are made specifically for that store. They have 4 different levels. They have the Classic, they have the Evolution. These are the Evolution. They have the Pro, and then they have the CS Plus. Now, according to the website at Sur La Table, all of these have this really unique ceramic titanium non-stick surface. And the one thing that's really neat about these is that you can use metal utensils on them. At least that's what they say you can, and that it will not destroy the surface. That was one of the key reasons why I purchased these, was because I don't care where I'm at. I'm really picky about my kitchen stuff, and whenever someone's cooking with me, I don't care who it is, somehow they're able to grab metal utensils and use them on my nonstick pans. And everybody likes cooking with nonstick, so they always want to grab those. So the big benefit, these are supposed to be resistant to metal utensils. Now, the other thing that I really liked about these pans was that you're supposed to be able to put them in the dishwasher, and that they're dishwasher safe. Okay, so that's what it says on the website, and the box says that too, that you can put them in the dishwasher. But when you read the directions, or when you read their user guide, it says that, you know, putting them in the dishwasher can cause fading, which is a problem with all the pans that look like this, is if you put them in the dishwasher, they fade and they look hideous. So I don't even know if I'm going to try putting them in the dishwasher. I'm really kind of bummed about that. But that's the other thing. I noticed, like, if you have somebody who's cleaning your house or something and you leave these pans, you leave your pans in the sink, they put them in the dishwasher. And so, you know, I've been really methodical about not doing that anymore, and making sure that I wash them right away and that they don't stay in the sinks, so that they don't accidentally find their way into the dishwasher. I might try one of these in the dishwasher, but you know, I really hate that faded look that they get, so maybe not. Now, I did get a bummer with this. I really wasn't expecting it with a product out of Denmark, but they sent me 2 1-quart saucepans instead of a 1-quart and a 2-quart. So I have to call up Sur La Table and see if I can't just replace this one pan. I'm hoping I can, because if I have to rebox this whole thing and bring it back, I'm going to be super bummed. Then the other thing, on the website for Sur La Table, they differentiate each of the series. So the classic has this non-stick surface, and you cannot use it on induction cooktops. Then they say the Evolution is a step up, same as a classic, but you can use them on induction cooktops. And so to be used on induction, this would have to be steel, and kind of looks like it is, but on the box it says that these can't be used on induction cooktops. And that's the frustrating thing about buying things online, is when you get them, the description online has nothing to do with reality. So these on the website said they were good to be used on induction cooktops. Then the next series up, the Pro series, they say that their ceramic titanium surface is 25% stronger. And then the CS series, they say that's a professional level series. And the big difference in that is they have, on the interior, they have 5 clad aluminum, and then they have that surfaced with steel. So some big differences as you go up in pans in the level and the quality. You know, I don't need 5 clad aluminum. I found that I'm not that great a chef. So what I really wanted was, I wanted to be able to use metal utensils. I wanted it to be dishwasher safe, and I wanted it to be able to be used on an induction cooktop. You know, I don't have an induction cooktop in this place, but you know, what if I did? So I don't know what to say about that, but here's what the pans look like. They are really pretty. They're not super heavy. You know, they feel like almost all the pans that are made out of that have this dark coating around them. They're not a super heavy pan. They're the handles are well balanced. I gotta say, the handles are well balanced on these so that it doesn't feel like these pots are going to accidentally fall out of your hands. All the handles seem really well balanced. The lids, if it's on the right one, fit really well. So all the lids seem to fit really well. So there you have it. Those are the ScanPans. A couple things I'm not sure of. One, the box says the Evolution can't be used on induction cooktops. So note to self, if you want the induction cooktop, I think you might have to do the Pro series or the CS Plus series. And oh well. Now, so I'm going to try doing some cooking in these. Before you use them the first time, you have to wash them out with warm soap water. So I'm going to do that. But then we're going to do some cooking just to see how they react. I don't have any frying, which I really wanted to do on these to see if they work, but I don't have any frying on this recipe that I'm going to do today because today we're going to look at summer. And summer is about the element of fire, and fire is related to the heart. And so the foods that we cook in summer are light foods, right? Because it's so hot out. Nobody likes eating something heavy. You can't even move. You can't get out of bed if you eat heavy foods. So we're going to do some light foods that mimic the foods that you need in the heat of summer. So from a Chinese medical perspective, why would you use light foods in summer? Well, if you look at the element of fire, it's ephemeral. It isn't physical. It's almost as if it's a spirit that moves and has great heat and great energy. So, and it likes to go up. So it's very, very light, right? It has no weight. So the foods that you want to eat for summer are going to be light foods. And you're going to want to make sure they're not foods that are warming, that will heat the body up, like heavy meats or a lot of meat or greasy foods, because that will just add more heat into your body. And you know, the most common things you notice when you have too much heat in your body is heartburn, acid indigestion, gas, headaches, red eyes, sweating, always being too hot. So those are like the most common things with too much heat in the body. So one of the things I wanted to touch base on too when we talk about the heart channel is, you know, in the US, heart disease is still one of the top killers. And in Chinese medicine versus Western medicine, heart disease starts much earlier. And you'll notice that a lot of people go, gosh, I wonder if this is heartburn or if I'm having a heart attack. And what that usually is they have a pain right here, that can go up to here, that can go into the arm, but they have this pain. And in Western medicine, you know, they'll say, oh, that's acid indigestion or that's heartburn, until it's not. And then it's a heart attack and you're in ER. So, but in Chinese medicine, that pain that's right here, that kind of goes, that can be here or can go up into the arm, that is actually on the heart channel. And so for some people, they'll get excruciating pain that goes all the way through their back and is just completely unbearable. And in Western medicine, the first thing they usually do is remove the gallbladder in situations like that. And it does seem to relieve the symptoms until it doesn't, and it comes back at some point in time. It comes back many years later, and then it's even harder to treat. But in Chinese medicine, that pain or that discomfort is really part of the heart channel. and it's at the point where it's just heart qi. So in Chinese medicine, there's multiple layers of disease, and the Wei Qi is the most superficial. Qi is like the second most superficial. So it's way early in the disease process, and it'd be a great time to try and address that and change that. So the foods that I'm going to cook today, the meal I'm going to do today, is going to be about addressing that heart channel pain. And the thing is that you want to get that qi moving again. And if you can get that qi moving again, that pain is going to go away. Most of the time, it really is our food choices which is causing these symptoms, and over time these symptoms keep on getting worse. So in order to open up the heart channel, you need light foods, because fire is light. You need them to be uplifting, so you want them to lift up the qi and open it up, because fire is, again, uplifting. You don't want them too hot. You don't want hot foods. You usually want them cooling, because you don't want your fire going out of control. You don't want to cause, some of these wildfires that we've had over the last couple of years that just ignite everything in its path in seconds flat. And let's see, what else about the energy, the food energy that you want. So you want it cooling, you want it light, you want it uplifting, and you want it to be tonifying. So let's take a look at what I decided to make today. Okay, so we're back, and let me tell you, because I was having a meltdown that I didn't get the right ScanPans, that I didn't get the 2-quart, I had to call Sur La Table right away and ask them, how are they going to handle this? Because I was really bumming, thinking, what if they want me to pack these all up and return them? I don't know if I can do that. So I called them up, and they were really good. They're just going to send me out the 2-quart, and I should get it in another week or so. And technically I probably would have used the 2-quart today, but we'll see if we can get by without it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a Japanese marinade. And as I mentioned before, our big focus on this meal is going to be cooling, and then we also want the direction to be uplifting. Okay, so let's start with the recipe. What we're going to do is a Japanese marinade with mung beans and vegetables and eggs. And so the goal of this recipe is for it to be uplifting and cooling, and we want it to break up phlegm. Usually that pain here or here is really about qi stagnation and phlegm. So we want to use foods that break up phlegm. So in the marinade, peppers, garlic, lime, and onions, all of these break up phlegm, and they're uplifting. They're pungent foods, and pungent foods are considered uplifting. Now with the marinade, I am going to use tamari, and you hear a lot about tamari. It's a Japanese sauce, and it is interchanged with soy sauce a lot, with the big thing being that tamari usually doesn't have wheat in it, so it is gluten-free. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little mirin. I might add in a little bit of anchovy sauce, because that is like my favorite thing. And vinegar. If you watch the Instapot, you know vinegar is astringent. It supports the liver. This is going to be a white vinegar, so it's going to be astringent, supporting the liver. Sugar, because you got to take that bitter taste out of the vinegar. We've got some olive oil, and I think that is all I'm going to use for this marinade. So let's get started. And I usually do everything by taste, so I don't really measure anything. And so let's get started. I'm going to grab a spoon so I can taste this as we go along. Okay, I am going to start with vinegar, and most marinades ask for sweet rice vinegar and mirum, and mirum is a sweet rice vinegar, so I'm going to use that. I actually use vinegar with mine because, one, I'm not like a super big fan of rice vinegar, so marinades are usually dark. They take a lot of tamari, so I usually go about 1 and 1 with tamari. So 1 and 1 vinegar with the tamari. And I'm going to add in a little bit of this rice, this mirum, which is a sweet cooking rice, and it's brand new, so it's not open yet. Next, I want some olive oil. I want to get the base first before I start adding in the spices. And I'm going to start with the sugar, and then I'll see if I want to add in the anchovy sauce. I'm not quite positive that I want to do that, but I might. So, you know, whenever we use vinegar, you need a lot of sugar. It usually almost looks like a 1-to-1 vinegar to sugar. Okay, let me see how that tastes. Oh, it's still a bit vinegary. So we'll add in a little bit more sugar. You know it's vinegary when you can feel the inside of your mouth pucker up. And right now, because I don't have the lime in it yet, it's still kind of a heavy sauce. Tamari, I think it has a tendency to be a heavy food, and so it's tonifying. Let's see what that does. Okay, I think we got to start. So let's see here. I am going to take my limes and I'm going to squeeze those in here. I don't have a lime press today, so I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. And what I like about limes, really, they break up phlegm. They're really uplifting. So with just this tamari, this sauce is pretty kind of heavy. And so if you add in limes, it really lightens it up quite a bit. Let's see what that does. And so when I say lighten it up, I mean it really starts changing the direction of the sauce to more uplifting, which is what we were talking about. We want a meal that's light and that's uplifting, that breaks up the cheese stagnation and breaks up the phlegm in our chest. I think I can do the whole lime in there. I love Japanese marinades. That's just one of my favorite things. And these are really good limes. Boy, they're very juicy. So one of the things in Chinese medicine, juicy foods are supposed to be cooling too. Okay, let me taste that. I love Japanese marinades. And let me unplug my door chime because that's going crazy today. Okay, so now we're going to add in the spices. Now, these are all pungent, so the goal of these is really to be uplifting. And let's see, I washed these up earlier, so I'm just going to pull off the outside of a couple of these onions. So onions, chi moving, they move the chi, they help eliminate phlegm, and they're uplifting. So these are great for what we're trying to accomplish here. And I want to do the marinade first. It really isn't going to have enough time to set and to absorb all the spices, but you know, I'm going to try. So let's put these guys in here. Yum. And then I got these serrano peppers because they're not that hot. So they're uplifting, they move chi, but you know, my husband can do super hot foods, I can't. And so these, being that they're not going to get cooked, they're not going to get any hotter. And they usually have a tendency to be a really nice mild pepper. Okay, I'm going to use this to cut this guy up. And I like the crunchiness of these peppers when they're not cooked. And being that I'm sitting at a table, it's a little bit awkward. Drop those guys in there. And the last thing is the garlic clove, which garlic, pungent, uplifting, helps break up phlegm. And I'm only going to do one clove today because I think I can get a little bit carried away with the cloves. I made some pico de gallo the other day and got way too carried away with the cloves. And since these are going to be raw and I don't have a press, I don't want to get too carried away. I'm sure there's people who can cut these up like nobody's business. I'm just not one of them. You know, and the other thing you can do is you can squish them. I just found that to be messy and not too effective. Really, I just prefer to have my garlic press. Okay, so there's that. I think that is going to be the spices that I'm going to put in here. And I'm just going to let this sit because now we're going to, should we make the noodles first or cut up the vegetables to put on top of the noodles? Yum. I just love Japanese marinades. Okay, so that's going to be the marinade. I'm going to put this aside. I think we're going to make the noodles next, okay? Okay, so we're going to start with the ScanPan, the Dutch oven. You know, because I don't have the 2-quart, I've got to move to the Dutch. The 1-quart's going to be too small for what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make the noodles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put together a broth for them. And for this broth, I'm going to use bouillon, chicken bouillon. You know, you might have saw my Instapot one. Chicken bouillon is great to put in flavor on noodles and rice. Cumin, you know, you can add in other things with this too, like turmeric, fennel, some of those other herbs and spices. They're all warming, so you know, you can use a lot of them in the winter. Now for this, I'm actually going to put in a pinch of the fish sauce. And with fish sauce, it's always a pinch. You can't use it like soy sauce. It's not soy sauce. You probably don't even want to try using it like soy sauce because you'll die. But so I'm going to put a pinch of that in, let this come to a rolling boil, and then I'm going to start adding in vegetables. Okay, we don't quite have a rolling boil, but it looks pretty good. So I'm going to put in some of my root vegetables that I'm using. And carrots, super tonifying, very nutritious. They take forever to cook, so getting these guys in early isn't a bad deal. Mung beans take maybe about 10-12 minutes to cook, so I'm going to put in these roots first. I'm going to add in more of the green onions, because again, you know, the green onions are lifting, they break up phlegm, one of the key things we want to do today. And so here's just a few more of those, and then I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to this. There's a saying where you can't have too much garlic. That's not true. You can have too much garlic, but being that there's so much water in here, I thought maybe we could do it. So I put in another clove of garlic in this. Okay, I'm going to give that some time to boil, and then we're going to add in the mung beans. Okay, so I'm getting to the point where I'm getting ready to put in those noodles, and before I do that, I am going to add in some basil. Oh my gosh, I love basil. That is such a fragrant, delicious herb, and it just adds so much lightness to everything that it touches. So basil is really good at breaking up phlegm too, so another great one for opening up the heart channel in the summer. And let's look at our mung beans. I don't know if you've cooked with these before, so let me move this over here. But mung beans, they're all the same. This is just Dynasty's brand, and they're bean threads. They'll call them bean threads, but if you look at the ingredients, they're going to be mung beans. And so let me see if I can help you see what these look like. So again, mung beans are super cooling, and you can get them as a bean too. They almost look like green lentils. And you can make them into any kind of bean dish. I find that you can't do a lot of them at one time because they get so cold that it will change your stomach too quickly. So I added in some mushrooms too to this. So we have these bean threads, we have the mushrooms, we have all our spices, the onions, the carrots. All of this is boiling up together, and we have the basil in here. It's going to take a few minutes. It takes again about 10-12 minutes for mung beans to boil up completely. And you can see right now they're a little bit stiff, they're white, and we'll see how they look in about 10-12 minutes. Okay, so the mung beans are still boiling. So in the interim, while I was waiting, I chopped up some raw vegetables, just some cabbage and tomatoes. And I am going to add in a protein with this, and what I'm going to use is I'm going to use eggs. So, you know, this is the Dutch oven ScanPan, and it's been on here for maybe about 20 minutes at a boil. And let me tell you, all the handles, they're not even warm, so that's really super positive. The lids fit okay. You can see if I lift it up. So nice lids. It does come together well. But what we're going to try now is I grabbed this small fry pan, and I've been heating that up for probably like the last 10 minutes, so it should be heated up by now. But I'm going to try an egg in this. Now, I didn't put any oil in there. I don't know if that, you know, it says it's non-stick, so let's see how non-stick it is. Okay, so it looks like it's going to take a little bit of time to cook, and then I'm going to use a steel spatula to flip it over, and let's see if that really works. So let's give it a little bit of time and then we'll flip it over. Okay, so it's time to flip this egg over, and let's see what we got here, because we've got no oil. I don't know. Kind of non-stick. Obviously, I did cook that pretty well. So, it's not bad. I think I'd put oil in there because it's not the best either. But I did use a metal spatula on that. And I did kind of have to dig in there. And I gotta say, it looks like the metal spatula didn't really scratch it. So I guess from that perspective, they're right. It does handle metal really, really well. Okay, I'm gonna try doing another egg here, because let's make one that looks presentable, and let's add a little bit of oil this time, okay? Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of Pam coconut oil. Yum! You know, and coconut oil is a medium chain fatty fat, so it doesn't go through the traditional method that most fats do. It doesn't go through the lymphs. Instead, it goes through the blood. And so that's part of the reason why they think it helps you lose weight. Okay, so while this egg's bubbling up here, I kind of wonder, you know, if maybe it does need oil in here, because this one's cooking a lot better than the other one. And, well, I can tell you, it slides around real easy. So, can't complain about that. Eggs tonify the chi, so it's a good protein. It's a good protein to add in to help supplement the stomach and spleen. Wonder if I can get this guy to flip without tearing apart the yolk. Here we go. There we go. We did it. Okay, so that's going to just take a few minutes and it should be done. Okay, let's look at the mung beans, the mung threads. And they've gone through almost all the liquid, which is what you want them to do. And you know, when I was growing up, we called these cellophane noodles because after they cook up, they're really clear. You can see through them. So I turned off the stove. I was thinking that I'd have more liquid left over and I'd have to drain it out, but I don't. Everything has been absorbed by the noodles. They look great. So I'm gonna start plating my dish, okay? Okay, so this pan, still the handles have no heat whatsoever. So they did a really good job on the handles. Pulling off the lid, the same thing, no heat whatsoever. It cooks really well. It did really well on the stove, and it's not a super heavy heavy pot. So the one thing I'm doing again is I've got my steel utensils, and I'm going to grab some of these noodles and I'm just going to put them in a bowl. I want to grab some of the vegetables with that. especially mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Some of the basil. Okay, so with this, I'm going to add in just a few vegetables on top. So I'm going to add in a little bit more herbs too. So I put in a little bit more basil. I'm adding in cilantro because who doesn't love cilantro? And then I'm adding in some tomatoes. And tomatoes, you know, they're juicy, right? So juicy things have a tendency to be cooling. So this is very cooling on the system. And then I'm adding in cabbage. And if you remember from my Breville, cabbage is very tonifying. And let's add in that egg on top. Let's see if that will just slide on out of there. Okay, points for the ScanPan. That just slid on out of there. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the marinade. Yum! This is like my favorite. And I'm just going to grab a bunch of it, pour it on top. And there you have it, a light meal that's really healthy for the heart, helps lift the chi, break up the phlegm, and tonify the body. And cool. So there you have it. The ScanPans, they seem to work as indicated. Oh, I really hate doing this, but I'm going to try putting one in the dishwasher, and I'm going to be super bummed if it fades it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that 1 quart that I have 2 of, and I'll put that one in the dishwasher, and we'll see if that fades it. But otherwise, the pans worked really well. It looks like you do need to use some oil with it. It seems like it needs something to get it to cook correctly, but okay, so they said that these ScanPans are dishwasher safe. So as much as I was reluctant to do it, being that I had the 2 1-quart pans, I thought I could sacrifice one of those since the 2-quart should be in next week. So let's see. The dishwasher cycle is done. The ScanPan is in there. There it is. Okay, first off, let me tell you, there's no fading. Oh, I so thought they were going to be faded and get that patchy, dusty color to them. You know, the ScanPan looks pretty much new. Now, even the handle looks pretty good. Well, let's compare it to the ScanPan that didn't get the dishwasher experience. So let's see here. This one didn't get the dishwasher experience. This one did. I gotta say, okay, let's move it over here a little bit, see if there's any change in the lighting. Let's see how, you know, okay, here's how the side looks. Here's how the bottom looks. That's still a little wet right there, so. Okay, so there you see a difference is on the bottom, and I don't know, I'd have to see if like using Bar S or something would clean that off. That would be kind of an interesting experience. But this whole bottom has changed color. Other than that, the rest of the pan looks brand new. So I'm guessing they are dishwasher safe. Now this bottom feels a little smoother. They have ridges going through it. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Okay, well, I've got to say they probably are dishwasher safe. If you don't like this faded, this coloring on the bottom, I wouldn't put them in the dishwasher. Other than that, it looks pretty much brand new. Okay, so the one thing that I'm curious is, will Bar S change this? Can the Bar S take this discoloration off? So, barkeeper's friend, with all my 3-ply steel pots, I use this on it. It brings them back to shiny. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to that. And let's see if that cleans it off at all. Oh wow, maybe. Okay, give me a minute. Let me use both my hands to do this. Okay, so I was scrubbing this. Let's see what we get. So you have to scrub it a little bit strongly. You can see the original pan versus my dishwasher one. I think you could probably get this off if you did it a couple times with Bar S. This part in here, it would be hard to get because it's sunken in. So I don't think you're going to be able to get that off. But it looks like you can get quite a bit of this off if you use Bar S a couple times. Okay, so I used Bar S a couple times on this pan. This is the one that went through the dishwasher. And what you can see is if these were flat surfaces, the Bar S would have gotten it all off. But what it really does is it has these fine grooves in here. And the Bar S wasn't able to get it all out of those fine grooves. Or this here that's dipped into the pan, it couldn't get it off of that. So in general, these look like they're dishwasher safe. To get most of that oxidation off the bottom of the pan, you can use Bar S. And other than that, this pan, it really did survive the dishwasher. I cannot believe that. So awesome. Really awesome. Okay, totally unbelievable. Okay, those are the ScanPans, and they actually do have a great cooking surface. You do seem to need to use an oil in that. Just using it on their surface, you saw what happened to the egg, but the egg came off. So this is definitely a buy. And like this is the Evolution. So they have the Classic is their lowest model. The Evolution is their second model, which I had misread some of the information on it, and I thought these were induction safe. They're not. So the Classics and the Evolutions are not induction safe or can't be used on induction cooktops, but the Pros and the CS Plus can. And realistically, I probably would not have invested the additional $300 to get the induction ones, simply because I don't use these pans enough. So this is a good pan. It's good enough for what I was doing, and I don't have an induction cooktop here, so that would be another key reason not to buy the induction. Okay, so if you guys like these, you can get them at Sur La Table. That's the only place where I've seen them. The two key selling points for me were that they were dishwasher safe and that they could survive metal utensils. Okay, so there you have it. That's my summer heart recipe to help strengthen your heart and move the heart chi. The ScanPans seem to work. I do like the pan. They seem to be pretty solid pans. And so thank you for coming out to my channel. Hope you are able to try this recipe, and until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.